The world is a scary place where danger lurks around every corner. These are the incredible, true-life stories of people who face their most desperate hour and live to tell about it. Tonight, it's the scariest show on Earth when a circus elephant goes on a rampage of terror. Plus, a devastating earthquake rocks an ancient cathedral, trapping helpless tourists inside. And a panic-stricken woman escapes from a burning inferno by jumping headfirst to the ground below. Then, a TV cameraman in the wrong place at the wrong time gets the close-up of a lifetime. And it's terror in the sky when a jumper's bungee cord snaps in midair. These are images so startling, so awesome, so unbelievable, you may think that you're watching a movie, but you're not. Everything you are about to see is real. Real people, real danger, real excitement. Get ready to experience the thrill of a lifetime. You are about to witness the world's most amazing videos.
Bull riding, rodeo's roughest event. It's 8 seconds of man against beast. And then it's supposed to be over. Meet champion bull rider Tough Hedeman. He's about to live up to his nickname. Las Vegas, Nevada, the national finals. Tough is on Copenhagen Stinger, an animal so mean he's known as the Eliminator. The men in the colorful costumes are rodeo clowns, but they aren't there to entertain the crowd. Their job is to step in and distract the bull and save the rider's life. Back in the chute, the animal's lethal horns are held down by a piece of lumber. Tough straps himself in for the ride, his hand lashed tightly to the snorting beast. The gate is thrown open, and the bull barrels into the ring. Just seconds into his ride, Tough is thrown off. But his hand is still wedged between the twisted ropes. He can't get free. The bull spins around, battering him to the ground. Frantically, the rodeo clowns struggle to control the rampaging animal, but the bucking bull tosses them aside like rag dolls. Watching from the stands, Tough's wife, Tracy, is frozen with fear.
All of a sudden, things just kind of went from bad to worse. It was scary seeing him there and knowing I couldn't do anything.
If Tough blacks out and falls beneath the bull's pounding hooves, he could be crushed to death. Almost 60 seconds have passed. Tough is conscious, but he is taking an incredible beating.
When something lasts that long, of course, you just get into a panic state. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, he's never going to get out of this. 2 rodeo clowns literally take the bull by the horns, while the other men pile on top of the wild animal. They are finally able to cut Tough loose. But no one in the arena knows how badly he is hurt. The shocked crowd holds its breath. Then a collective sigh of relief as the dazed and badly bruised rider staggers to his feet.
I just was so exhausted that I could just barely stand up. Felt like I'd been hung up for 7 days and 7 nights.
When it was all over with, then I just sat down and cried, just thinking, oh, he's okay.
It was just a pretty eerie feeling that we just kept going on and on and on and on.
The bull may have won that day, but this brave champion continues to ride the rodeo circuit.
When the chute comes open, it's a feeling that it never changes. It just, all of a sudden you go from being perfectly still to all hell breaks loose.
For him, when the going gets tough, Tough gets going. Assisi, Italy. Residents try to rebuild their lives following a devastating 5.5 earthquake. Construction crews work to secure the crumbling framework of the world-renowned St. Francis Basilica and the priceless 13th century frescoes that line the fractured walls of the church's interior. Across town, citizens team with rescue workers in an attempt to stabilize their most cherished landmark, a 600-year-old bell tower. The quake has left the massive structure wobbling precariously atop the crumbling pillars. But just as workers are attaching support lines, a frightening rumble thunders from below. A violent aftershock shakes the village, sending the prized tower crashing to the street. Back at the Basilica, the shock waves strike. Terrified workers race for the door as the ceiling begins to collapse. We can see gigantic slabs of mortar and marble crash to the floor as the church is engulfed in a cloud of dust. Medical teams rush to the scene as the people inside struggle to free themselves from the rubble. Villagers will spend several months and millions of dollars recovering from this violent quake. Tragically, no amount of money can ever replace the precious works of art that were destroyed by nature's awesome fury. Peterborough, England. Skydiving instructors give first-time jumpers the thrill of their lives. The students even get a souvenir video shot by this helmet camera that captures every heart-stopping moment. At 13,000 feet, jumpers take the plunge, attached to their instructors. Instructor Mike Smith is strapped to the back of his student, Richard Maynard. He shouts out last-minute advice. They jump, followed closely by Ronnie O'Brien, who is shooting this video. It's a picture-perfect dive. But when Mike pulls the first of two ripcords, there's big trouble. The chute snaps upward, and its ropes wrap around Mike's neck, choking his windpipe and rendering him unconscious. The panicked student can't find the emergency ripcord. The men spin out of control, hurtling toward the earth at more than 250 feet a second. Meanwhile, Ronnie, who has been videotaping all this from a few hundred feet above, swoops into action. Knowing that they only have moments to open the second chute, he plunges toward his fellow jumpers. Ronnie grabs for the ripcord, but he can't reach it.
And I was probably about 6 seconds away from the ground.
Down to his last chance, Ronnie grabs and pulls. Mercifully, the chute deploys and the men are spared. It was only after watching the tape and seeing the rope wrapped tightly around his neck that Mike understood the full magnitude of Ronnie's heroics.
If Ronnie hadn't been there, then both Richard and I would certainly have died.
Coming up, a hotly contested soccer game sends frenzied fans over the edge. Plus,
I'm gonna ask you to take a breath.
a drunk teenager steals a police car and leads stunned cops on a high-speed chase. And
I realized how close I was to getting killed.
it's a circus of horrors when a stampeding elephant rages out of control. Then later,
I can't describe it. It was just really terrible.
a bungee jumper lives his worst nightmare when his cord snaps in midair. How will he survive? Find out when the world's most amazing videos returns.
Chicago, Illinois. A fire has turned an apartment building into a raging inferno of smoke and flames. Annabelle Perez pleads helplessly from her third-story window. But she is concerned with more than just her own safety. She is 7 months pregnant. She and her husband, Noel, are trapped inside. gasping for air and desperate for a way out.
I thought the woman was going to die. Everybody was screaming and horrified. It was a very, very frightening experience.
Police can't wait for firefighters to arrive. They unfurl a blanket under Annabelle's window.
We were getting desperate. She looked like she was going to jump at any moment.
Annabelle panics as the fire consumes their small apartment. Choking on deadly clouds of smoke, she is determined to save the life of her unborn child.
We realized that if she didn't jump, she probably was going to be burned, possibly killed.
Police officers position the blanket beneath the window. There is no time to spare. Annabelle must jump to save her life. Noel lowers his wife slowly out of the window. Shockingly, she insists on falling headfirst. For what must seem like an eternity, Annabelle hangs upside down until her husband has no choice but to release her. The police grip the blanket tightly, but the impact is so severe, she smashes right through it and into the sidewalk.
She landed with such force that she literally ripped the blanket out of our hands, so we didn't actually catch her. We just broke the fall.
Firefighters begin to move a ladder into position for Noel, but the heat is too intense for him to bear. He jumps and makes it safely to the ground below. But Annabelle's condition is critical. She is rushed to the hospital, fearing for the life of her unborn child.
Oh, she's pregnant!
Annabelle had no choice. She had to jump, or both she and her baby would have been burned alive.
I just remember thinking that we were gonna die. We were gonna get burned.
As Annabelle made the agonizing decision to jump, she prayed for the courage to do what was right for her unborn baby.
That's why I decided to go head first as well. Because if anything bad was to happen, let it happen to me first. And that way, she could at least have a chance. You want to live, you want to survive, you do what's necessary. We were very blessed.
So blessed that she named her baby Milagro, Spanish for miracle.
She's my life. She's my best friend. I could go through anything as long as I have her on my side.
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's a battle for the championship in the world's largest soccer stadium, the Maracanã. The stadium is packed with over 150,000 frenzied fans, way beyond the legal limits. Tension mounts on the playing field as the crowd goes wild, waving balloons and clapping their hands. All eyes are on the game. Then suddenly, disaster. Pandemonium reigns as the railing collapses, sending 50 petrified fans over the edge. Some hang on for dear life, while others plunge 25 feet, slamming into the stunned spectators below. Security guards try to hold back the crush of fans. They fear that even more people may topple from the overcrowded balcony. The injured are carried away in rescue helicopters. And amazingly, the game continues. Grand Rapids, Michigan. When state patrol officers pull over a car for not having its lights on, they find a drunk teenager at the wheel.
Gio, I'm gonna ask you to take a breath test.
The 17-year-old girl is intoxicated and taken into custody. Her hands are cuffed behind her back in what seems like a routine arrest. Then she's put into the back seat of the patrol car.
I'm a peace officer. You're on the arrest offense of operating a vehicle under the influence of intoxicating liquor. You understand what I read to you? No. Which part didn't you understand?
Repeat it all, please.
While the girl's passenger is being questioned, the officers don't notice her climbing into the front seat of the patrol car. Somehow, she gets her handcuffed hands in front of her and onto the wheel of the patrol car. With the lights still flashing, she drives off in the arresting officer's vehicle. Her emotions running wildly out of control, she speeds through the town's peaceful residential streets. The chase is on. The cops pull in front of the hysterical girl at an intersection. But that doesn't stop her. In a daring effort to keep her from getting on the interstate, the police sideswipe her vehicle to try and push it off the road. It doesn't work. With the cops in hot pursuit, she speeds onto the highway. The girl barrels down the road at more than 100 miles an hour, with the police close on her tail. Remember, she's still handcuffed. Determined to stop her before the chase ends in tragedy, the police surround the hijacked patrol car and box it in against the guardrail. Suddenly, the girl tries to ram her way out. The officers shoot at her tires in an attempt to disable her vehicle. But then, the panicked and inebriated young woman makes another irrational move. Still using the patrol car as a battering ram, the teenager finally breaks free. Though badly damaged, her car starts weaving dangerously down the highway. Taking no chances this time, a battery of police cars meet her head-on and stop her cold. The high-speed chase ends without injury. The teenager is arrested on charges that include drunk driving and resisting arrest. Her joyriding days are over.
Next up,
I kept saying, am I going to die? And they didn't really answer me.
a skier takes a bone-crunching fall down a 1,000-foot mountain. Plus,
I've never been that scared before.
panicked circus fans run for their lives when a deranged elephant goes berserk. Then later,
what's this going to cost me?
A hidden camera catches a cold-blooded husband hiring a hitman to murder his wife.
He's sitting here talking about having me killed, like he's talking about the weather.
When the world's most amazing videos returns.
Extreme skiing. Thrilling. Exhilarating. And sometimes deadly. Valdez, Alaska, the World Extreme Skiing Championships. It's cold outside, but the heat is on as Anna Kanarowski prepares for a downhill run she hopes will crown her world champion. Little does she know that in a split second, her dream will be shattered. Her skis hit a rock and are sheared off, sending Anna on a terrifying plunge down the treacherous mountain.
Oh,
Stop again. Stop.
Just as the slope begins to smooth out, she takes one more painful blow.
We need serious help up there.
After somehow enduring the life-threatening fall, Anna miraculously lifts her head.
She's sitting up.
She's sitting up.
She's okay. She's sitting up.
A rescuer quickly arrives and finds her disoriented and critically wounded.
I kept saying, am I going to die? Am I going to die? And they didn't really answer me.
The stretcher is lowered from a helicopter hovering above. Anna is strapped in and rushed to a nearby hospital, where she survives her frightening ordeal. Today, she reflects on what went wrong.
What triggered the fall was that when I went over that jump, I hit a rock as I was going over it, and then I leaned forward and it caused me to come out of a ski. That's when I lost control. I had no skis to stop me. As I went over the cliff part, I saw this gully down below, and it just felt like I was a bird flying out there. My arms were out, and I just went flying off that cliff. I was trying to stop the whole time, but I couldn't stop. It was so steep, there was no way to stop. Because I was conscious, I kept feeling my head banging against the rocks.
Incredibly, this terrible accident hasn't caused Anna to give up the sport she loves. But each and every day, she is thankful to be alive.
I definitely feel lucky because when I fell over that cliff, I was really scared and I thought I was going to die.
London, England. A bank robber approaches a teller and demands she hand over the cash. But employees activate a security shield, foiling his plan. The robber races to escape through the front door, but mistakenly thinks he's been locked inside. He repeatedly tries to push his way out. Too bad he can't read the sign on the door that says, "Pull." But then, an unintentional accomplice, a little old lady, opens the door and shows him the error of his ways. This video gave the police all they needed to catch and convict the confused crook. At least the cops won't have to worry about this criminal escaping from jail. Honolulu, Hawaii. As Steve Hirano heads off to work, he has no idea that this day might be his last. He works for a circus, where during today's performance, an angry elephant goes berserk and attacks her trainer.
As I saw what was happening, you knew that something was wrong, and you hoped that the situation would come under control by itself.
Oh my goodness, oh my God!
But this beast is not about to be tamed. Spectators watch in horror as the crazed elephant stomps her trainer with a deadly fury.
She was shaking that left front leg, and the guy's head was just bobbing around on his neck. Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh!
Fortunately, the trainer survives. When the angry beast turns on the crowd, Gail Shaleski is afraid for the safety of her two children. They could be his next victims.
There was a lot of screaming and yelling, grown men pushing women and children to beat a pathway to the door.
People started to climb up the stairs or climb up the rafters in terms of just moving away.
Gail's two daughters are panic-stricken.
People started to scream and yell and run out the doors. I've never been that scared before.
But then, an unlikely hero summons the courage to step forward. It's Steve Hirano. Steve's not a professional animal trainer, but he knows he has to do something.
I think the thing that went through my mind was just keeping the audience calm and not having them run into the arena or run out of the arena to create some sort of disturbance where the elephant would follow after them.
But the elephant does follow them. It charges out of the arena, leaving behind a path of destruction. Now outside, it crushes everything in its way. It tramples a sport utility vehicle. Then it attacks another trainer.
Watch out, Bronte! Run!
The trainer runs, but can't find a way out. Finally, he manages to escape. The police car tries to corral the rampaging animal. But it's no use. Now it's the cops who must flee for their lives. As the patrol car barrels through an open gate, Steve arrives on the scene. In a daring attempt to contain the uncontrollable elephant, he makes a last-ditch effort to shut the gate. But a chain-link fence is no match for this raging beast.
She was getting into a position as if she were getting ready to crush me. And I realized how close I was to getting killed.
Fortunately, the police are able to distract the enraged elephant, but it continues its reign of terror. As drivers escape their cars, one woman is trapped inside, directly in the elephant's path. Authorities have no choice. Sadly, they must stop the demented animal at all costs. This tragic event is now over. Many owe their thanks and their lives to the courage of one heroic man.
You look back at it and reflect on it, and I'm just glad to be here alive today.
Up next, a fireworks show explodes on the ground, sending spectators running for their lives. Plus, a farmer tries to bulldoze a silo and ends up buried in a pile of rubble. Then later, a bungee jumper faces what could be his final moments when his cord suddenly snaps in midair. When the world's most amazing videos continues.
Sao Paulo, Brazil. At a fireworks festival, thousands of spectators watch in awe as rockets are launched from skybound balloons. One after another, the balloons take flight and light up the heavens with a dazzling display of pyrotechnics. But as the crew prepares to send the next balloon aloft, disaster strikes. Barely off the ground, a spark causes the payload of fireworks to explode. Within seconds, thousands of Roman candles become missiles, sending terrified onlookers running for their lives. Just when it appears that the crisis is over, flaming pieces of rubber from the burning balloon rain down on crates of nearby fireworks, setting off even more explosions. The fiery torpedoes strike the stampeding spectators. Thankfully, no one is killed. But the people at this festival will never forget just how dangerous fireworks can be. Across Wisconsin, a murder-for-hire plot unfolds in this motel room.
What's her name? Susan? There's nobody around.
Jim Schumann is contracting a hitman to kill his wife.
What's the chances of removing her, making her disappear?
That can be done.
Is that too tough for you?
No, that can be done.
And not show up again?
I understand.
This is not a casual conversation. Schumann knows exactly what he wants.
He's got 2 kids involved, and I don't want them touched.
Okay. I'm not going to do anything when anybody else is around.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, the other thing I need an alibi out.
I got that down here, yeah.
Schumann's motive for murder? He'd rather see his wife dead than pay her alimony.
I mean, I've been living in for 3 years, Eric.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sick of it. I'm losing everything with these attorneys.
There's just one hitch in Schumann's plan. This is no hitman. He's really a cop.
I've been working undercover as a hitman for about the last 5 years. When Mr. Schumann came into the hotel room, I was taken aback by how clean-cut and well-dressed and well-spoken he was.
Schumann and his wife Susan seem to have it all. A happy life with 2 wonderful kids. But after 17 years, their marriage disintegrated, leading to a bitter divorce.
Initially, when I found out that he had actually tried to hire someone to kill me, I was in shock. Just plain shock.
The best is if she disappears. So there's no corpse.
Okay. All right. Do you care how it's done? I mean, do you want her to go quick, let her sleep, want her to suffer? Make any difference?
Just go on.
Out of here, huh?
Yeah, make it easier on yourself. But I don't want it done this week.
You mean this fall coming?
Yeah, my son's birthday, that just wouldn't be right.
It gave me shivers up my spine. It made me feel like I just couldn't believe that I was married to this man. He's sitting here talking about having me killed and different ways to do it, like he's talking about the weather.
What's this going to cost me?
What do you got?
Not much right now.
I thought Mr. Schumann was in very much total control of his thought process. He was very cold, very calculating. It's almost like we were talking about selling a car.
Not only does Schumann want his wife murdered, he also tells the undercover agent to kill her father if he gets in the way.
If you have to waste him, that's fine. His gun should be wasted.
Well, if you got the money, man, it's up to you.
No, man.
But you want what, the old man, your dad?
Well, if he's in the way, take him out.
You pay for that?
I'd make it right with you. Because
So-
I ain't talking $1 jillion here.
It ain't $1 jillion, but it ain't free.
I understand that. Person in your business can't be free.
The undercover cop asks for some expense money to get things rolling.
I mean, coming up here is costing me, gas, hotel and stuff. I mean, I'd look at least to cover my expenses, for this trip up here.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you all the cash I got on me right now, which ain't much, but I'll get you some more.
What do you got?
I got a hell of a lot with me right now. I'm just absolutely burnt out with attorneys and stuff, but I can get you some cash. That's not the end of the world.
Mr. Schumann actually hired me to kill as many as 8 people. He told me that if these hits went well, I could make a handsome living.
Suddenly, this man who would rather see his wife dead than pay her alimony now has plenty of money to spend on multiple murders.
I can tell you what I've done it for in the past, okay?
Hey, don't tell me.
I usually go 10 grand ahead, okay?
I need 10.
Is that all right with you?
It's unbelievable that someone that you've been with for that many years is capable of doing that to you and is capable of having no conscience, having no feelings.
It's the only way I can do it, I think, at this point. I mean, she's ruining everything.
That's fine with me, okay?
I mean, you don't care. You're
That's
not,
right, I'm in it for,
money.
but, I'm going to consider as of right now, I'm going forward with this.
1 week later, police arrest Schumann after he gives the undercover cop a $1,500 down payment. He is later sentenced to 35 years in prison. Ursa, Illinois. Farmer Stan Frazier has an old silo he needs to get rid of to make room for his new crops. Looking to save a few bucks, Stan wants to use dynamite to blow up the silo. His wife, Diane, does not approve.
We know some people that do a lot of blasting. He said, just go get some dynamite, blow it up, pick up the bricks, and go. Do not do this.
So Stan comes up with a new plan. He's going to thread some chain through holes in the lower level of his silo and pull the bottom out. The top will surely follow. Or will it?
We have a minor difficulty.
But things don't go according to plan. He pulls out the foundation, but the silo's still standing, and it's extremely unstable.
To me, it was just going to fall down, and we were all going to go home and eat lunch. But that isn't what happened at all.
Then Stan's dad, a lifelong farmer, has an idea. Since the silo is already leaning, he tells Stan to get in his bulldozer and give it a little push. But Diane fears for her husband's safety.
I've got 2 kids. God didn't make me to be a single parent. Don't do this to me. What are you doing?
By the time Stan puts his bulldozer in gear, it's too late for Diane to stop him. She can only watch as things get worse. A lot worse. Diane pulls her breath.
There was dust, there was bricks flying everywhere, and my husband was underneath all of it. All I could see was the silo was falling on top of him, and he was gone. I assumed he was dead.
The bulldozer is buried in the rubble, and there's no sign of Stan. But then, to everyone's surprise, he emerges unhurt.
I had lots of mortar and rocks in my pockets. Don't know how it ever got in there, but it never put a scratch on me.
Stan tries to put on a brave face for Diane's sake, but this near-death experience has deeply affected them both.
We backed the dozer out of the pile of stuff, and I got off, and my wife come running over, and we just hugged each other.
Stan and Diane still can't bear to watch the videotape of that ill-fated day. The day that their world almost came tumbling down.
But it all turned out okay, and we know you're not going to do that again, are we?
No.
Coming up, a race car spins out of control and into a TV cameraman. Then, it's a bungee jumper's worst nightmare when his cord suddenly snaps in midair. Plus, the scariest horse race ever caught on tape. When the world's most amazing videos continues.
Canberra, Australia. The country's top rally racers have gathered to vie for the championship trophy. The first 3 laps have been free of accidents. But about a mile into the final leg, the lead car barrels into this dangerous turn at over 100 miles per hour. Driver Alan Laverick locks up the brakes and sends the car into a spin.
The ultimate aim at that stage was just to get as much speed off the car as we could and minimise the damage when we actually did hit something.
His 280Z careens into TV cameraman Michael Barnett, who was covering the race.
As soon as the car came to a halt, I looked around to see what the problem was, and there was his body lying on the ground beside the car.
Let's see the replay from the cameraman's point of view. Nearly 3,000 pounds of speeding metal hurtling straight at it, with nothing in the way to stop it. It's hard to believe that anyone could survive a collision like this. But Michael did.
The split second I got hit, chaos broke out. There were screaming spectators. They were all along the hill. Marshals came running down. They were on top of me within seconds, telling me not to move and not to worry.
Paramedics rush Michael to the hospital. They are amazed to discover he's escaped his brush with death with only a broken leg. The only person more surprised is Michael himself.
It could very well have been a fatal accident captured on tape, yes, and I'm just so glad that it wasn't.
Forbes, Australia. It's the last lap of the last race of the harness racing season. It's been a perfect accident-free year. No riders or horses have been injured. But as the horses head into the backstretch, that clean record is about to become a thing of the past.
At the 600, she's a problem. Just a leader from Brooks, Sky Warrior and Senegal. It's done it. Oh, he's trouble in the last. All sorts of problems there. That horse is buckled and gone down. She's a problem. Horses and drivers everywhere. And what's left? There's nothing left.
Keep your eye on the inside horse at the front of the pack. Ironically, her name is She's a Problem. She's a Problem becomes a big problem when she trips and topples into the dirt. The mishap starts a frightening chain reaction as 10 horses go down. The carriages crash to the ground as drivers lie in fear of being trampled to death. Medical personnel rush onto the track. They are relieved to find that no riders or horses have been seriously hurt in the pileup.
And everybody wants you to keep off the track, please, and allow the officials to do the job they have to.
For this track, the dream of an accident-free season has gone up in a cloud of dust. St. Louis, Missouri. It was supposed to be the thrill of a lifetime.
It was something he wanted to do. He's excited about it.
A breathtaking bungee jump from a height of 200 feet.
You just assume it's going to be safe because otherwise they wouldn't let him do it.
But in one split second, the ultimate thrill became the ultimate in terror. On this 4th of July weekend, 39-year-old Marty Hatch prepares for his first bungee jump. He arrives early, the first jumper of the day.
We had a whole group of people coming down because Marty had let the word out that he was going to do this bungee jump, and there were some circulars going around, and we were doing his last will and testament and just having a lot of fun with it.
After Marty steps into the bungee cage, he is hoisted into the air.
It just kept going up and up, and I thought, my God, look how high up that is.
The cage reaches its maximum height. looming 10 stories above the fairgrounds.
All of our friends, we were all down below looking up at him and chanting, "Jump, jump, jump."
With the bungee cord strapped to his waist and ankles, Marty inches to the edge of the platform.
Come on, Marty!
He received some final words of advice from his instructor, but nothing could prepare him for what happens next. Marty leaps headfirst from the platform, but as he plunges to the ground, tragedy strikes.
It was shocking because you expected to see this person go back up, and instead he just fell to the ground.
It was just, I can't describe it. It was just really terrible.
The cord snaps, sending Marty into a deadly free fall. Miraculously, Marty lands on the corner of a giant airbag. Friends and paramedics rush to his side. Marty is conscious, but he is not moving. Everyone fears the worst.
The paramedics were telling me to just lay still, be calm. They were checking for paralysis to see if there was a severe spinal injury. When I wiggled my arms and legs, they all worked, and I was very happy at that point.
Marty has survived his terrifying ordeal.
I remember falling through the air, and I was wondering when the recoil would come as I was getting closer to the ground. When I heard the snap, I thought, oh my gosh, something's wrong.
Marty endures several operations as a result of his fall, but he knows that the outcome could have been worse.
If things had been slightly different, I could have landed head first, which more than likely would have meant my death.
An investigation would later reveal that this horrifying accident could have easily been avoided.
Safety latches were not in place to keep the cable on the hook. From what I was told, it was just operator error, negligence on their part in not hooking up the system correctly.
Marty's quest for the ultimate thrill nearly cost him his life. But on this day, luck was on his side.
My mother has always said I had 9 lives from other stunts that have happened in the past, and she indicated that I probably used 7 that day.
If you have one of the world's most amazing videos, then we want to hear from you. Just send it to World's Most Amazing Videos, Post Office Box 933026, Los Angeles, California 90093. If we use it, there's a cash reward waiting for you. So send your amazing videos today. The World's Most Amazing Videos will reach next on The World's Most Amazing Videos. A rocket fuel factory explodes, sending shockwaves through the Nevada desert. A cop fears for his life when a suspect fires at point-blank range. An Olympic bobsled team overturns and takes a terrifying plunge to the bottom. Plus, a wing walker slips during a stunt show, and only a daring rescue can save him. Next time on The World's Most Amazing Videos.